StreamYard does something to us and removes it or reschedules it or something.
You got to slip a guy $20.
Right. Wait, so says Tom just returned from New York Comic Con. Right.
That's it. You always got to slip a guy $20.
I was going to say, this is Kelly Jones and Matt Wagner. This is from last week. Where is this week's stream?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to find on Facebook so I could share it. I couldn't see it. It said we're live, though. It did say we're live.
Yeah, so did you click on that to go there?
Well, I clicked on live, but when you go to that, when you go to like what everybody else sees, and you can't share that. You have to have it inside the Facebook, your feed of the Facebook page. And it wasn't coming up.
Yeah.
By the way, hi everybody.
That's right. Hello everyone.
Welcome to old people figuring out the internet.
Yeah, it's what the heck. All right, so welcome everyone. Today is October 26th, 2025. I'm trying to get this shared to Facebook so they'll know we're here. All the rest of you are joining us from not Facebook, I'm imagining. So welcome. I am your host, I am Roland, and I am joined by Don't Pitch Me Bro, Mr. Tom Mason. Say hi, Tom.
Hi everybody. We'll get this figured out soon.
We will. I know Tom is going to have all kinds of wit to offer us tonight about pitches. We are joined, of course, by Roberta Conroy, Supreme Colors for Cat and Mouse. Hey, Roberta, how are you?
I'm doing all right, thanks.
You look like you're floating around in space there.
I am. I like my space.
Yeah, don't we all?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, last but Tommy said he may or may not make it depending on how long dinner was, I think. So there's that. We are joined, of course, by that man in the mask guy, Mr. Mike W. Belcher. Say hi, Mike.
Hey everybody, and think about this. Next week when we will be an hour behind what we're here today? Isn't time change next Sunday?
Ooh.
Oh hell yes! It's daylight savings time.
Yeah, I think you're
Somebody
correct.
puts a bullet in DST and we get the regular time.
I bet you're right.
Yeah.
Why do I not see this stream?
So it's a sad occasion. So because now it's gonna be dark at 4:00, and
see, you know what? I guess I'm one of the.
I'll be suicidal by 4:30.
Yeah, I guess I'm one of the oddballs. It has never bothered me. Time change has never bothered me.
Physically, it doesn't bother me, but my gosh, I just hate the idea of it being dark at 4:00.
Because the thing is, when I had like a 9-to-5 job, and it started to get dark at like 3:30 in the afternoon, and it would be completely dark by the time I was driving home, I was angry and sad about the whole thing.
Yeah,
because I used to like it when it gets dark at 9 o'clock, and it still feels like I've got some day left where I could do some things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then along comes 6 o'clock, and it's like I gotta get ready for bed.
Yeah. I got lights, so it doesn't bother me. So what bothers me is why I can't find our stream on Facebook.
Well, it's on YouTube.
Let me hold the cursor.
It looks like
here.
It's on YouTube.
We got 0. So I told you I can hold my cursor over our little number here, and so we have one YouTube viewer, and everyone else is coming from Twitch. Nobody is coming from Facebook at all. So,
they can't find it like we can't find it. I can see why.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I was going to try to find it and share it. Let me see if I change to my profile and see if it'll come up that way. No, I see the live that I did earlier today from Halloween Fest. By the way, y'all, Halloween Fest was today. Had me and Tommy and BJ was there.
Jose
was there, and Javier Lugo was there. So we had us a little island in the middle of it was in a mall. So when you're walking in the mall, we had us a little island of tables, which was quite nice. We had a blast. We had a good time. We talked lots of comics. We had a good time, and then of course it started raining on us as we were leaving. So
in the paper business, that's always bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I know, that's right. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to post a link. To
I just figured it out. I was able to share it.
Oh, you were? How did you share it?
I went to that. I hit the live, where it's up there on your profile picture where it says live, and then the next thing is our window, and then at the bottom it's got that arrow in the comment section. I'm looking at my phone. I'm not looking on the computer.
Oh yeah. See, I don't know about the computer. I mean about the phone. Sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm just gonna post a YouTube link. That's about the only way I know to do it.
Hey, you could go my profile and share that.
Yeah, let me find Mike.
Again, ignore the guy behind the curtain.
I remember when my parents got their first color TV. This is what this sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting.
It's a link day.
All right. Oh yeah, and of course the image I see is me sitting up there doing this.
That's very professorial.
Yeah.
But Tom, I love the glow you've got going on. You've got this nest. I'm kind of jealous of that. You're looking ethereal for this Halloween week.
Well, I moisturized.
I'll take anything I can get for my dry skin.
Because it's hangnail season, so you got to be
hangnail.
Yeah, the weather gets dry.
Yeah. Everything's dry.
Everything's dry. It's I'm like an old leaf. So
you got pity from Roberta. Oh.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, so so that was pretty much my con report for Halloween Fest. We had a blast. We had a good time. Sold some books. Hopefully, I think we made some new fans, because I think all of the people who bought stuff from me, they were unfamiliar faces. They were mostly here's the cool thing, y'all. They were mostly younger. Yeah. So they were like, "Hey, what's this?" And start talking to them, and they get interested and look and say, "Oh, cool." So that was very exciting. That's always exciting to see. We talked about this a little bit. I don't know if we were live when we talked about it, or it was just in our the news out of New York Comic Con. The news that I'm talking about, for all of you tuning in, is about Heidi posted a report that had
Heidi McDonald from Comic Speak.
Thank you. And she talked about how comic sales were up, which we're a little skeptical about, but the news was that the increase is skewing to a younger audience, and for those of us who make them, right, that's pretty exciting to hear.
Yeah, because I think her point was that the people who got into comics through manga, as they age, they're sort of not necessarily outgrowing it, but just looking for other things, like
something different.
What's my new excitement, and what's my new thing? And so I think it's a thing that comics always begets comics. Like if you can get anybody into comics at any level, regardless of what it is that brings them in, if they stay, they will eventually want something else. And it may not be your thing, and it may not be my thing.
Right.
They will want something else. Just like when we got into it, if we were DC fans, eventually we would read a Marvel comic, or eventually we would read, something else. And so I think that's the point that she's making, and I think that's what we're seeing with the audience is that they want to stay in the comic book reading business. So what can they read now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have preconceived notions either. I mean, a lot of them are coming into the idea, we came into it with the idea of Marvel and DC, and then we eventually found indie comics and whatever.
Right.
I think the younger audiences I've seen are going straight for the indies because, again, they've seen the Marvel stuff. They've seen the DC stuff in the movies, on TV shows.
Right.
And they're realizing there's other things. And really, that's the one thing that both the companies have completely neglected over the last 20 or 30 years, which is bringing in that younger audience. that they put out younger audience material, but nothing that would drag them into their universe more so than, well, here's an anime, here's one based on the animated series you might be watching.
Right.
And also,
nothing,
I think
nothing bringing in a new audience like us when we were younger, and propagating new audiences every cycle or generation, or whatever. And there's nothing been like that. But now, hey, we might have a shot.
And I think with the independent publishers, kids who grew up reading manga, they're used to different genres of stories that are not superheroes. Yeah. So they're used to magic and fantasy and romantasy and pirates and cowboys and
black and white.
Right, black and white and same-sex relationships and people turning into cats and whatever. And so it's just they're used to comics being everything, and DC and Marvel really are just that's superheroes. And so maybe I don't want superheroes any more than I want to eat at Applebee's or wear Levi's.
Right.
So,
I think that's that's exciting. I mean, what I think, like for us, I think that move very much was, hey, I'm a Marvel DC guy, right? This is what we read. But what's this independent stuff, right? I remember the first independent comic book I ever knew about. I was probably still in high school in my local comic shop. I walked in to pick up my new comics one day. And he goes, oh, by the way, we got some creators here signing their book. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I still have a copy somewhere in a box, right?
Of course you do.
It's called The Cobra, right? And I'm like, what's The Cobra? I've never heard of that. Is that by Marvel or DC? No, we do it ourselves, right? So, of course, I bought a copy. And I'm like, what the heck is this, right? And that opened my whole world up to all these, non-Marvel DC comics.
So I'm like a grandpa fan, and so when independent comics started coming out, there was ElfQuest and Cerebus, and I wasn't really interested in ElfQuest because I don't like that kind of stuff.
Right.
No offense to anybody who does, it's just not my thing. But I was really attracted to the idea of this sort of warthog-looking pig character carrying a sword.
Barbarian, yeah.
Barbarian. And so there's Marvel and DC, which is all superheroes, and then there's this, the Earth pig carrying his sword, and I thought, well, I'm going to get this, and then I was hooked, and then it's like, well, I got to find more of this kind of stuff. And
right.
And I think Mike Friedrich was publishing Star Reach at the time, and so then there was that, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm not reading superheroes anymore. I want to find more of this weird stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and you have to look for it. That yes. certainly back then you had to be a little aggressive and looking for it, because the Marvel and DC was what was everywhere. It was this other stuff that wasn't. Yeah,
you have to go to like a big city newsstand or something to find anything that was different or weird.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess, like I said, the Cobra was probably when I was in high school, and I didn't really have my eyes opened to independence until I got into college. As a freshman in college, I went to a different store, and they had actually some independents out, and I'm like, what is all of this? And that's when I became aware of Kamiko and Eclipse and those early mid 80s independent comics, and from there the rest is history.
But then you never had to pitch anything, really, because you met Barry and Tommy and Mitch, and you were just making your own comics. You weren't necessarily pitching to anybody.
No, huh? And we in all honesty, we didn't know any better, right? We're just like, hey, let's make some comic books.
like hillbillies out in the woods. What do you want to do? We're gonna make some comic books.
Let's make some comics. What are we gonna do? And then that's when we got into college. We realized we should probably send these to someone and see if they'll pay us for it.
Good.
I don't want to get a real job.
No, I don't want to get a real job. Maybe they'll let us do this and pay us. So, and I still remember. You guys probably remember too. I remember when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out.
Yeah.
I remember walking into the comic shop and the comic shop owner saying, hey, you need to check that and it was on the wall right as you walked inside the door, right? And because he was promoting it, and so I turned around and looked at it and I flipped through it and I'm like, yeah, no, Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. No. You need to check it out. It's gonna be hot. I was like, nah. Show me something else. And of course, it became hot, and then the boom happened, and I'm not trying to throw shade on the Turtles, because I'm forever grateful for the Turtles, because they led the independent boom, right? If it wasn't for them, I don't think we would have gotten even a Malibu or things like that, so that we could go over there.
Well, what's interesting about things like Turtles and Cerebus, and I'm sure somebody will weigh in and correct me, is that they started out as parodies of existing newsstand mainstream comic books.
Yep.
And then very quickly, when they realized they were going to put this stuff out every month, it's like, well, we just can't tell these same jokes.
Right.
Every month.
We gotta step it up.
We better come up with some kind of mythology and backstory and, do something, because, there's a reason why Mad Magazine parodies are only like 8 pages.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so you can't, if you're doing a parody of Miller's Daredevil, or you're doing a parody of what Cerebus was doing of Conan, you're not going to get very far. It quickly becomes one joke. And to their credit, both of those sets of creators managed to move their stuff forward in more interesting ways.
Yeah. You want to hear a sad but true story? Probably 10 years or so ago. And I think I remember the editor's name, but I won't mention it because that's not important. I had talked, Steven and I had talked. It was like, hey, let's do a Turtles pitch, because something had happened with the Turtles where they had moved somewhere else, I think, and someone else was doing them, and they were looking for new stories, or I don't remember exactly what it was, but Steven had actually talked to me about it, and it may have been a little bit longer than that. I don't remember, but we put together a Turtles pitch, right? Steven did a page. I could. Gave me a minute.
Great.
I could.
Of course,
not there, right? Not back there. It's on my computer somewhere. And so Steven did up a page of the turtle. It looks great, by the way. And so we sent him a pitch. I got a response. Now, what I did is I hearkened back to the Turtles' origin with the ooze, right? The Daredevil ooze, and the editor's response. All they said was that is not now, nor has it ever been, the Turtles' origin. And I'm like, so are you saying this for legal reasons? Or do you believe this? Or did you change it? I never understood why they said what they said, because I actually had to go back and look, and I'm like, that's... Everyone knows it's the Daredevil ooze, toxic ooze, right? Everyone knows that, right? But
what's funny is when you get an answer like that, you're never sure if that's a real answer or if that's just the way they're saying no today.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So
now it would be AI.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right. AI would answer you. Yeah.
Thank you, human, for your submission.
Yeah. So yeah, we never did that, but we had we had the whole team lined up for them. We said, here's what we're going to pitch, and that was really all the editor said. And I'm like, I'm not sure I follow that.
You're not buying it.
Yeah, no, I'm not buying it. I don't. But my problem is I can't figure out why. Why would he say that?
Did you call him up and argue with him? Because that's always a good move.
No, why didn't he just say no? You suck, right?
Yeah, that you can handle.
Right?
Yes. Because you will never get that really from anybody except like maybe peak Neil Adams at a convention, or Steranko, or me. But I'll say it gently. It's just basically you're not ready.
Yeah, I still have some Tom Mason rejections, not over here, but on file.
But I wasn't unnecessarily cruel.
Oh no. Well, and the beauty of it is for me and you is like you already knew me at the time,
right?
And so the rejections were gentle.
Right.
They were always, Roland, I love this project, but here's why it won't work. Right. And so I appreciated that you actually took the moment to say, here's why it's not going to work for us. Right.
Right. Well, because I think there's 2 ways to kill a project or accept a project. One is that, is it any good?
Yeah.
But also, can I make money on it?
Right.
Like, is there going to be enough money in the deal for the company to make money, which could then pass money on to the creative team? And if we can't satisfy that part, then it really doesn't matter how good it is.
Right.
Because publishing is not in the money-losing business deliberately.
Right.
Yeah, even if you love it,
right,
you just know there's nowhere for it to go, then
right.
Because there's tons of stuff that I love that got submitted to me, and it's like, dude, first of all, have you seen what we publish? And two, we can't make any money at this because I don't know who else besides me
would love it. Yeah. That's one of the things I do try to talk about in my class is, because they I shouldn't say always, they often come in, with stars in their eyes. It's like, here's my grand story I want to tell. That it's 12 graphic novels and all this kind of stuff. And I tell them, I said, well, here's what you got to consider. Because, we'll start talking about it. And even some of their classmates will say, well, because it's a workshop class. And so they'll say, well, and they'll say, well, I really like this. And then I'll say, okay, well, here's what you have to keep in mind. You've heard your classmates. They all had the same comment. It's not about you telling a literary story. It's about selling and making money. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter how good it is. If no one believes they can sell it and generate some income, they're not going to do it.
You're not going to get your 24 issue saga to completion.
No, and it's not going to happen. It doesn't matter if it's brilliant, right? It's just if they don't think they can sell it, then it's not going to happen.
And the true test is, if you want to do it that way, put up your own money.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Experience all the highs and lows of self-publishing and start your epic right now.
That's right. There's
and
never
good
been
luck to you.
Yeah, that's right. And good luck to you. Yeah.
Good luck to you trying to get an artist to stay with it for 24 volumes.
Oh
and
my
good luck
gosh.
getting a colorist and a letterer and all that stuff as you print your 10 copies.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But good luck to you. It's important to go through that.
It is. Yeah. I think it's super valuable, invaluable even, for someone to at least go through the process to understand everything that goes in. It's not just about, I wrote a story, right? Or I drew a story. It's about, okay, now we got to put it together in a format that a printer, right, can actually say, I can take your files and print them. And of course, it's too bad Tommy's not here because he loves to talk about all the different. I mean, he goes, people send us stuff. He goes, they send us 23 pages, and we go, yeah, but it's 24 pages. We got to print 24. Yeah, but I only have 23 pages. But we have to print 24 pages. Well, just print 23. I don't need the 24th page. I just need 23 pages
off the back of the sheet of paper.
Right? It's like it doesn't work that way. And he's like, he goes, you don't understand how many times we are trying to explain to people. No, there's 24 pages, and we'll print your 23, but you're going to have a blank page. Well, don't print that page. I can't not do that.
I think everybody should print one comic book of their own and understand
see how hard
all
it
aspects.
is.
Yeah, see how hard it is, and to see all aspects of the production.
Yeah.
Get inside the letterer's head, get inside the inker, colorist, printer's head, figure it all out, and get the calls from, the printer. Well, what kind of paper do you want? Or here's how long it takes to print. How many copies do you want? And each page can't be a different size, and so you got to figure it out. And start with it. Just everyone should go through those things, and then they would have a greater appreciation for. They would never ever say, "Well, I want my 14 issue operatic comic book."
Right.
They just wouldn't do it.
They would be, how can I cut this down to 100 pages?
Right. Yeah. They can't do it. And like you publish on your own. You have your singular title, single character person.
Yeah.
When you started, were you more naive than you are now?
Oh heck yeah! I mean, the only thing I had going for me was the publishing part. The comic book part, no, I had to pick it up. I thought I knew it. I thought I knew, decades of drawing and decades of trying things, but until you actually start applying to it, like I said, the only thing I had on my side was the publishing. At least I knew what I was going, paper and print runs and sizes and templates and stuff like that was easy to me. But
so you can work backwards.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because there's a world of difference between theoretical and practical.
Right.
Yeah.
You think you're ready, and then you get into it. It's like, oh yeah, and then all these years later, it's like if I could go back and do it a different way.
Well, and you think Roberta as well, right? Back from the old Malibu days, is you basically, you did the creative coloring part of it, but when you were done, you had to prep it for print.
Well, that's right. However, it was most of the way ready. That was the beauty of Photoshop, because the plates are already auto-generated. So.
Yeah. All right.
All you had to prep was the line art and the color hold.
Well, but when you, correct me if I'm wrong. So you colored it in Photoshop.
Yeah.
But we didn't print from TIFF files, right? We printed, or did we?
We did.
Really? Okay.
We printed the film.
Right. Yeah, but you had in your process, part of your process, did you flatten the TIFF image, or did you leave all the layers?
You're right. There still was a pre-press process.
Yeah, I was going to say you had some pre-press.
There was still a process.
Yeah. So all of this conversation, y'all, is a great way for us to segue into our topic tonight, because we got our first question up here is pitches, red flags, and green flags. And what we're going to talk about is when you're making, you're going to pitch, right? You want, and I'm not going to say Marvel and DC so much, although we could talk about a little bit of that if you want to. You're going to pitch your thing that you want done. What are red flags? What are the kind of things that an editor or publisher goes, no? And what are some green flags, right? So we're gonna talk about some of that. I'm gonna get right to the question. So y'all think about some of your red and green flags, but I'm gonna get right to this question here. Okay. First off, Pops said, "Hey, yo, Madness Entertainment Group. Thanks, Pops, for always checking in on us. We appreciate Pops and everything he does." Raymond McKay says, "Hey, if I can ask, and if this hasn't been answered already, Raymond, ask away. We are just getting started on the topic, so please, if you've got other questions that you want to ask, put them in this chat here, and we will get to them." He says, "What's the best way to pitch to smaller indie companies? Like if you want to work for a specific publisher?" That is a great question. I'm going to let Tom take it first, if you want to, because Tom can speak to. I know the Malibu days, right? From Eternity, Air Sail, Adventure. What's the best way, Tom?
So here's the thing. The first thing you got to do, I think, is you got to research the company, and you got to figure out what kind of things they publish, what their sales are, who the editor is, what they may or may not be looking for, and that kind of thing. So you got to do your research first and figure out, because chances are the thing that you desperately want them to publish because they're your favorite publisher, they might not be interested in that kind of material at all. And you can't change their mind by saying, "Hey, this is so different. You got to take a chance." It's like, no, that doesn't work either. And because they really want, if everything that they publish is in a certain genre or in a certain style or whatever, your best chance is to fit in with that.
Right.
That's the first part. So you got to do your research and know what they're doing, know what they're interested in, know what they like to do. And the second,
as an example, right? If their line is all horror comics, right? If they do a lot of horror and a lot of scary stuff, don't pitch them your furry animal.
Right. And don't tell them that I know you want furry animals because it's different. I know you're looking to don't.
It's like, no, we have our audience, right? This is our audience.
You don't take your funny animal stuff to Brian Polito.
No, you don't.
You don't. And
Brian might like furry animals, but that's not what he publishes.
That's not his thing, and he can't sell that to his audience, and he whatever. Yeah. And so there's that, and then you've got to figure out, like, you can't just run up to somebody on the street and say, "Hey, go out with me."
Right.
You can't, you just can't run up to a publisher. You just can't run up to a publisher and say, "Publish my comic. Here's my pitch," and then start that mile-a-minute pitch, whatever.
Right.
You really got to figure out a way to have. I mean, it's easy to find people now. Everybody's on social media, so it's better to strike up some kind of relationship with the person who is in charge of pitching or editorial or whatever, and just see if you can try to be not necessarily friends, but try to be knowledgeable, friendly, and don't be in such a rush to pitch as if you don't get it published by Friday and get a check by Monday, you're broke.
Can I jump in here, Tom, and give an example? So as an editor, one of the things that happens is Tom, you can probably verify this, is like people are always coming up to you at conventions and trying to pitch you, right? Trying to do this, trying to do that. And the last place I really want you to pitch me is at a convention, right? But they're always trying to do that. There was a convention, and I think it was San Diego Comic-Con, when I was with Malibu. Guy came up and introduced himself and started talking to me a little bit. And he said, hey, I read that you're Arkansas Razorback fan. And I'm like, yeah, I am. You like college football? He goes, yeah. I cheer for so-and-so. We sat there and talked about college football. This dude had done the research on me, knew that I liked the Arkansas Razorbacks, right? And so you guys know because you're my pals, right? But this guy had done the research on me. And so I had a very pleasant conversation with the guy. And then he says, well, I do some writing myself. Can I give you some of my comics? He didn't ask me for a job. He didn't say I got a pitch. He didn't say, please hire me. He had a polite conversation with me, and he offered me a gift of comics that he had written. And I'm like, yeah, I'd love to. I was excited about that because the dude did some research, did a little bit of, not in a creepy way, but he did some, and then he offered me comics that he had written that I could take at my leisure and read.
And it wasn't in a crass way. It's like, here's my comics, and then I'm leaving. I'm going away. And if you like my comics, we can have more conversation.
Right.
But it's not. But he didn't sort of cleave to you like your second twin.
No.
Until he got a yes or no. And I think that's the other thing too. Is it's a long game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it helps, as Roland just said in his story, it helps to have a comic book already printed that you can hand somebody. Because giving somebody a pitch or giving somebody a verbal pitch is really nonsensical.
Yeah.
It's better. You need to have a printed comic. You need to have proof of work.
Yes.
And even if it's self-work, and it's better to give somebody a printed comic and say, listen, here's my stuff. If you like it, let's continue the conversation.
Yeah.
Because if you're... Go ahead.
Do you remember what we sent you for Cat and Mouse at the very beginning?
You sent me a fully printed comic.
I sent you a fully printed comic, and I sent you photocopies of the next 3 issues in their various stages of production.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I let you know as a publisher, okay, we had the one published, it didn't work out, but here are the other comics we're working on. So this is not just the only thing that we have. We're actually in production, and if you guys want to do the book, we're kind of, we're working on it.
Right. It's self-starters, because at that time we were an independent publisher. And you guys came and said, basically, we can make our own stuff.
Yeah.
If you like it.
Right. Yeah. Can you get it out?
Right.
And most indie companies nowadays that are in operation, that's how they take their, that's how they really prefer to have their pitches. They don't want a story. I mean, they want a story, but they want a team. They want you to give them everything, and they don't want to have to do anything. It's like, if you go to Image and Dark Horse and Boom and all these, if you're pitching an original, they're wanting a team. They're wanting, the whole shebang: artist, colorist, inker, the whole thing. And they want you to show samples of what those guys do, and then they can give you a go. That's the way they want. Marvel and DC don't take pitches,
not anymore.
But you can give them work.
Yep.
And then they'll call you if they're interested in your past work. Hey, okay, we like what we see. But pitch us something now that we've seen you've done it.
Yeah.
Because
and right now, it's like, as a guy who's done over 15 of his own comics, and I mean, nowadays it's so easy to produce a comic, and there are so many people online that are willing to follow your lead. If they're, if somebody, if you're a writer, trust me, there's an artist that couldn't put 2 words together, but he would love to have some art out there and some practical experience, and he can tell somebody, And so you could go to an image and say, well, here's my story. And here I've got this artist, I've got this colorist, and here's a couple pages that we've done that, we want to show you what this could be.
Yeah.
And like I said, a lot of these companies just want something to publish. If it's within something they think is going to be sellable, if it's something that they can, if they think it's something that would fit into their line, if they see it right in front, it's so much easier to see things visually.
Yes,
it's so much easier to see it. And it's like, hey, these guys know how to put a comic page together. These guys know how it flows from page to page.
Right.
If we give them a green light, if we give them the go, we think we're going to get a good product. And so
not only that, Mike, but it shows that you can do the work.
Exactly.
Right?
You
show
the
up.
experience is there.
Yeah.
And so that's what these guys, like I said, it's like Antarctic Press. If you go to Ben Dunn with a series and you've been publishing it as an indie book for years, you can send that book to him and he may actually, consider publishing under his line. So different indie publishers, different tone, but generally they're looking for something that they can put into their line.
Yeah.
And I would say that there are some indie publishers like you, Mike, who are just the mic company. Like you're not looking for pitches. You don't want anybody. This is my thing, and I don't. Your thing might be great, but I'm on my own thing. I'm not taking pitches from outside. Mike?
Do I get pitches? Actually, I've gotten a couple, and I have to very politely say, "Hey, don't send me anything." I appreciate your interest, but I'm a self-publisher. I just take care of any man-the-math stuff and what I do, and I appreciate. And I've actually had a couple people want to do man-the-math stories. It's like,
that's great.
No, I can't. I'm not taking that either because I'm a self-publisher. Man-the-math is done by me. I appreciate you, but you can contact my buddy Roland Mann. Maybe it's
throw Roland under the bus.
Well, I'll try to pass them along to somebody else. But no, luckily, like I said, as a self-publisher, you've got to kind of make that plain to people that you don't take solicitations, and it's nothing against them. It's just what you do.
That's why you do your research up front, and you realize, okay, Mike is not going to expand his line with other mics,
right?
And so it is what it is, and so that's why. Because I have had people approach me at San Diego, way back in the publishing days, where the whole team would just show up. And I would get there. There'd be the writer
surrounded.
Yeah, there'd be the writer who was like the spokesman, and then there'd be the penciler and the inker and the letterer and the colorist, and then like a friend, and they'd be gathered around me, and it's like, what, like we're gonna play basketball or something. And so I was trying to figure out, okay, well, this is great.
Got a pitch for you.
But I love the aggressive intimidation tactic of gathering around me like a swarm, but I'm gonna look at it as, can you do the work and can I make money at it? And that's and so it doesn't. It's that kind of stuff is too aggressive.
Yes.
Yeah. What color flag would that be?
Right. That's red flag. So Raymond, if I can ask, if you're still on here, are you talking about when you ask about submitting to smaller indie companies? Are you talking about writing only? Like, are you just a writer trying to submit, or do you have your team together and you want to submit a comic? Because there are some differences there, as kind of Mike hinted at. So maybe we can talk about some of those. I've got a red flag that came up kind of as you guys were talking that I can remember, and I'm sure you guys have heard this. Don't come up to me at a convention, whether I'm at a table or just whatever, and say, "Hey, I got this idea for this 12 graphic novel epic fantasy story. It's about a dude." Eric goes, no, stop! Don't start telling me your idea. No.
He's got this ring, and he's got to take it up to the volcano.
Right?
Sounds like a movie pitch.
He's got a little buddy. Yeah, and they work great together. Yeah, he does what. Yeah, no. Stop! Time out. Don't do that. I can't tell you the number of times. And when you're tabling, right, when you're at a table, you're kind of trapped, right? If you're on the floor, I can easily go, my buddy Tom Mason is waiting on me. I got to go. It sounds like an interesting story, but I got to go, right? But if I'm at my table, I'm kind of trapped and I can't go anywhere. maybe if somebody's there, I'm sorry, man, I gotta go to the restroom. Tommy, watch my table right while I'm gone.
I have a great trick for that, which is if you're tabling next to a friend, you look out for each other, and as soon as you get trapped like that, have your friend call you. Like set up a signal. Like call me on my cell phone, and then say, I got to take this.
Yeah. Have you ever had them stand around and wait?
Oh yeah, no, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is. It's like, I'll just wait till you get off the phone, and then I'll finish my 12 issue. Don't. That is a red flag, y'all. That is a red flag. Don't do that.
Well, it's unprofessional. And really, you when you're trying to do things like this, you really need to think about your technique talking to a publisher, because it's unprofessional. And I have, the way I look at it is you got to keep things to yourself and approach these publishers with some decorum.
Yeah.
Because that helps you too. Because if you do, like I said, if you go someplace like Dark Horse has forms. It's like, do not even remotely send something to us without you, realizing that we get tons of pitches every day, and that yours may be in tone with something else.
Right.
And don't bother us years from now saying we stole your idea just because it sounded like something else that we got.
But it's four people who live together and fight crime.
Exactly. We live in a very tall building in New York, and
right.
one's kind of disfigured, and
But I think I'm gonna. I mean, the biggest red flag to me is to stop pitching. Basically, is to make stuff.
Right.
And I think that if you're, no matter what you are, if you're a writer or an artist or whatever, the worst thing you can do is spend time pitching and developing stuff to pitch, and then trying to track people down to pitch them. That's just a huge waste of time.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is to take a few $1,000s, work really hard, get some money saved up, and make a comic book, and then make another comic book, post it on the internet, build an audience, and then publishers will come to you and they'll pitch you and they'll say, hey, would you like, because there's a guy now, Ryan North, who started out doing like a webcomic, like a dumb, funny webcomic that's really hysterical. And now he's like an in-demand writer, but they found him through his webcomic.
Right.
And
he was doing stuff.
And he was doing stuff. And it's like, okay, they said, we want that tone of that writer. We want the way that guy thinks to write our new comic book. And then they pitched, so they pitched him. They inverted the pyramid and pitched him to come and work for them. And that's the position you want to be in.
Yes,
I mean, and pitching is all selective how you want to go about your, like I said, if you want to make a comic, make a comic. Right. Make a comic and send it to Tommy and Barry and Kablam and have yourself a comic. And if you want to show it to, publishers and whatever, go for it. Make your own. I've only done one pitch, and that was when I was 14 years old to Marvel on a Dominic Fortune miniseries. And I got a very nice letter back. And then when I got it back, years go by, and I thought, I can make my own. And it was the encouragement I got from Christian Cooper, I have to say, who was the submissions editor at the time.
Yeah.
It was encouraging because he said, well, this is the reason we can't take it, because he doesn't actually have a book right now. And so we always take inventory stories from new creators. But it was really well put together, and the way you had it structured for 4 issues, it was very nice. It really was more encouraging that I could do it on my own.
Yeah.
And then when I really got into indie comics and I started seeing people doing this stuff, it's like, I can do this too. And so,
So there's no way this is not going to sound like it's going to sound. But the cool thing about indie comics, right, is that you can look at them and go, I can do that. Right?
Right. Yes.
Am I right? I'm not calling any names at all, right? But the cool thing about indie comics is you can go, I can do that.
Right. Because you can find an indie comic that's worse than the one you're going to create.
Yes, you can.
And you don't have to look very hard. However, you can also find some great stuff that's aspirational, where it's like, okay, I don't know how they did that, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to study it like a biblical scholar and sort of take this thing apart and figure out how to make a comic book.
Yeah.
And I think that's the great thing about indie comics, and that's a great thing about making your own thing. And like when I was a kid, I started copying, Batman and Spider-Man and drawing them in my notebooks or whatever But I didn't want to make a Batman comic. I didn't want to pitch a Batman story. I didn't want to pitch a Spider-Man story. I wanted to pitch or write or create my own stupid superhero guy.
Right.
And that's still where my head is at now. I don't really, I mean, first of all, no one's going to call me and say, "Hey, Tom, write Batman" or whatever. But
right.
I don't want to write Batman. I'm not aspiring to write a Fantastic Four story. I don't have an arc for Iron Man in my head.
Nope.
I don't dream of that stuff. What I dream of is, I got, the thing I'm working on with Tommy and the thing I'm working on with Roland.
Yep.
Those are things that pop out of my head that are inspired by other comics I've read, but they're not my Superman or Batman pitch.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I talked to, I was telling Jose today, we were talking about things because we were talking about cat and mouse. And I'm like, here's what I really want to do with cat and mouse. Here's kind of where I'm going with it. Right. So and so that's what I want to do. I'm not sitting around thinking about, well, what can I do with Spider-Man? It's like, no. I'm thinking about what can I do with cat and mouse to, have them enter some cool adventures.
And why
would you want to give away any characters you could put in cat and mouse?
Right, exactly.
Why would you? I mean, make your own. Don't make their dreams. Make yours.
And also, I think, hey, Rob Davis.
Hey, Rob.
Also, I think there's I've never looked at it, and Roland, I'm going to speak for you, but you've never said to me, "Oh, cat and mouse is going to be my stepping stone to writing Batman."
No.
And that's not how you look at your indie comics, and I think that's a key to your whole thought process.
I want cat and mouse to be my stepping stone to writing cat and mouse.
Right. Yeah. If it led to something and you got an offer to do something, I think you would take it and that would be great. But that isn't the goal.
No.
I mean, I wouldn't say for absolute 100% certainty that if they came calling, that's what I would go do that. Right. But I would absolutely 100% consider it. But that's not why I'm doing it, right? I'm not doing that hoping that I'm going to get that call.
Like if I was an editor at DC, I would call up Mike and I would say, "Hey, Mike, I want a 4-issue Justice Society story, and I want it for next summer. Are you my guy?" And he would say yes or no based on 5 or 6 different reasons.
It would have to be my way. It would have to be me saying, if you're coming to me, I want it to be a Mike Belcher version of Justice Society, not what you're going to tell me I need to write.
Right. Because those fans that you make from doing that will come back to Man in the Mask. So it'll make this circle for you that'll benefit you.
Exactly.
In sort of a 360 way. Hi, Rob Davis.
I was going to say, we've been joined late by Rob Davis, who, Rob, you made that post on there. So I said, well, why don't I just get you on here? Because your post says my Red Bud Studios tried doing other people's work and could not make any money at it. I still get pitches and I have to gently let them down. So I still think you can talk about red flags and green flags, because I'm sure you still get pitches and you go, I'd like to do this, right? But you can't.
Yeah, it's because it is so difficult in today's world doing, especially print on demand, because it's expensive.
It is expensive.
But it's the only way I'm going to do it, because I don't want to have to buy 10,000 copies of a book.
No.
Or even 1,000 copies of a book, which is what you'd have to do if you go to a regular printer. I want something where I can send them off and say, I need 10 copies of this for this show I'm doing next weekend. I don't want to have to pay the big price for that.
Right.
Now, what that does is, especially with shipping costs as they are now, that makes each copy that much more expensive, and it gets down to maybe pennies per copy that you're making, if you make any.
Right.
So it's I've had to give up on doing anybody else's work, because the kind of person I am, any money that comes in, I want to give it to them.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's none left over for me, but I've done all the work, putting it together, getting it ready for whoever's printing it, and then I end up with nothing.
Right.
There's a certain part of me that goes, if this is a really great project, I might do that. But I can't do that all the time.
Right.
That would kill me. Plus, I'm on limited income. I'm retired.
Well, I think at that point in time, your consideration has to be, okay, here's this project. I may not make any money, but if I believe in this project so much that I think, oh, look, everybody's suddenly going to say, oh, look, this project. Whoa. what else? This is published by Silverline, right? What else does Silverline do? That's kind of an investment, right? That's you're not making any money, but maybe you're shoot, what is it? I think Tom at Malibu.
Yeah,
you're generating goodwill, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's guerrilla marketing, is what it is. You're trying to get some interest out of this other project, that you're publishing to get other people's to get their fans to look at your stuff.
So I'll give you an example, and I won't get the deets because Tom might get mad at me. But back in the Ultraverse days, the decision was made to bring on Barry Windsor Smith, and Barry Windsor Smith was Barry Windsor -Smith. I got chewed out from Tom once about that. Roland, there's a hyphen there.
He's the Lord and Master now.
So the price was very expensive, and I remember I still remember an editorial meeting, and Tom may not remember this part, but I remember I was the lone voice that said, I don't think that's worth it. I think that's way too much money, and I just don't think it's worth it. And the general consensus was, well, we know we're going to lose money, but this is going to be it's a
reputation builder.
Right. It's like Barry Windsor Smith is doing Ultraverse stuff.
He thinks
what else are they doing?
Go ahead, Rob.
No. If Barry Windsor Smith thinks it's worth doing an Ultraverse book, gee, I like his stuff. Maybe that's something I would like to see too.
Because
you're getting his ooh.
Because he had all what professional wrestlers say. He had all that rub off his Marvel work, and then he had all of that stuff from his Valiant work, where he was essentially a co-creator of Valiant, and so that. Bringing him over would be like he's coming over to the next hot thing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And whether that's true or not doesn't really matter. There's the perception that it's true. And retailers who are of a certain age would pay attention to that. And so, we're going to lose money on a per page basis. However, as a marketing cost, it's worth the expense.
Yeah. Yeah. Raymond says he's still on here. Says, I'm just a writer trying to submit to publishers. I've had some luck working on other people coming these characters. That's interesting. I don't really have a grand multi-volume epic to pitch. I just like working with other people and making comics.
Make your own damn comic.
That's right. Yeah. Your own thing.
Ray does some good work.
It's not that hard.
What's that?
It really isn't.
I said Ray does some good work.
Ray?
We've corresponded a few times. We've shared we've shared most of the comics that I've done and he's done. And he is the bright spot that I have for this industry. He's only like in his early 20s. And he's written for Gary Carlson for Big Bang. I said, and he's worked with Chris Malgrain on some of his comics.
Okay,
he's got a nice little pedigree of indie stuff right now.
There we go.
And they're good. And they're really entertaining. And he's got a good head on his shoulders. And like I said, it's we're talking about at the beginning of the show, young people. Here's a young guy that wants to be hungry into comics, who wants to write comics, and like I said, he's one of those guys where he's got a future. I mean, I think that we definitely, hopefully, he can get some pitches out there because he's the future of comics.
Well, so
that's great.
Sorry, Roland, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But that's the key, I think, to pitching is you've got to pitch a lot and you've got to have a lot of different pitches. You can't just pitch one thing and pitch that one thing to everybody that you meet. You've got to have, if you're at a party or at a convention party or at a convention event or at some show or whatever, and you meet a publisher who's looking for Westerns, you got to have a Western in your pocket. If you meet someone who's doing horror comics, you got to have a horror pitch ready. I mean, so the trick to pitching, if you're going to go that way, is that you basically have to have a pitch for everything.
Right.
Handy, because you don't know, and keep it. When I was interested in building a career, I would keep that stuff on my iPad,
Yeah.
And now I keep it on my phone. It's just like, oh, you want that? I'll just send it over to you.
I'll send it to you now. I've got one.
Get back to me when you can.
Yeah.
And that way it's done. I don't hand anybody anything. It's just all emailed now. And so
it's like Mickey Rooney. I can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you've ever seen old movies where the door-to-door salesman shows up, they've got a briefcase full of whatever you need. And so that's you're basically a hired gun looking to work on other people's projects. You got to have your pitches ready.
Let's hit some really easy red flags. So one of the first ones I can think of right off the top of my head here is cover letters. Right, if you send a pitch and you've got a cover letter, which you should have a cover letter. Two things about it, right? Number one, don't make it too long. If it's longer than a page, it's way too long. Okay,
one page. One page.
If it's one sentence, it's not enough, because I'm curious enough that you've sent me a pitch. I want to know a little something about you. Okay. Here's the other thing about the cover letter. It better be darn near perfect grammar. If you don't have darn near perfect grammar in your cover letter, you're telling me, right, as the person receiving your submission, you're telling me I don't care enough about my cover letter to proof it and proof it and proof it just before I send it to you. So for me, that red flag is, okay, you don't care enough about proofing your cover letter. You're certainly not going to care about proofreading your content.
And let me give a piece of advice about proofreading. Proofreading your own stuff, you'll miss
right.
Things.
Oh yeah.
Find a good friend who knows grammar and knows punctuation, and hand it to them and say, where did I screw up in this?
Right.
Because you have. I guarantee you have.
100%.
So hand it to somebody else to look at, because your brain says, this is what I wanted to say, and it will see that no matter what you've actually put on the page.
Yeah, if you make a lot of times, you did it a second time. Yeah.
And
hand it to somebody else.
And think of creative ways that your cover letter is going to be different from others. Don't just copy a cover letter off the internet and do find, replace, or whatever. Think of a way that your cover letter, because everything represents your project. So think of the way that your cover letter is going to represent the way you write, and is also going to represent your project, and is also going to represent your personality. Don't just go, dear sir, here is my pitch for my new horror comic. It is very scary. Don't.
It's the greatest thing since Stephen King.
Right. If you're pitching a horror comic to me and your cover letter scares me, then I'm interested in reading the project.
In the right way.
In the right way.
That scares you in the right way.
That scares me in a creepy way, but just scares me in a way that...
Dear Tom, while I was watching you sleep last night, I had this idea.
I would read, if you started your cover letter that way,
That's actually kind of funny.
I want to read your project. Because now think of what happened to my heroine, Jane, in this story. And it's like, figure out a way to make your cover letter as creative as your project, and I'll read your project.
Yeah.
I got to go, guys. So I wanted to say good night and great talk.
Yes.
And
good
see you, Roberta. Appreciate you.
I will be listening to the next red flag that you'll be sending.
That sounds good.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Good night. Devil Flyer says, hello, gentlemen. Hit that like and sub to the channel. That's right, Devil Flyer. Thank you so much for reminding everybody.
Hit the like and subscribe.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We need those subscriptions. And then Raymond said, hey, that's some great advice. Thanks so much. Thank you for the very kind words, Mike.
Also, if you're a young person, like if you're a college person, or like Raymond, who's in his early 20s or whatever, like everything is ahead of you.
Yeah.
And so you can do a stupid thing. You can you can take chances. You can fail.
Right.
You can fail miserably and horribly in front of everybody. You still got time to recover and still time to grow. And the internet makes your embarrassing mistakes that much bigger.
When I first started doing comics, these weren't gray; they were brown.
Right.
And so, I made a ton load of mistakes.
Yeah,
but if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning.
You're learning. Yeah.
So get in there and just stumble around, and you'll find. Eventually, you get a direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it takes a while to figure out where it is.
And just like, whatever you're into, if you gather friends together for Dungeons and Dragons, if you gather friends together for poker, gather friends together to make comics. And and it doesn't have to be people in your general area. You can do it on the internet now. And so I just think you've got to.
There are chat rooms where you can meet writers if you're an artist, and artists if you're a writer. It's a whole new world.
There's a thing
you're glomming onto partners.
There's a thing that I think is very true, which is stop. Like, I wouldn't pitch if I was a 20-year-old kid or whatever, I wouldn't pitch the Dark Horse. Mm-mm. What I would do is I would get together with my buddies who were in my screenwriting class at college, and I would do something that way. Because there's a reason, like the USC Film School, I think the graduating class over a 2-year period had John Milius, George Lucas, Francis Ford Coppola, and like all those guys. And what did they do? They wanted to make their own movies. Yeah. And they all helped each other, not because they were big names at the time, but because they were all in the same class, all had the same equipment, all had stuff. And there's Coppola's a producer on American Graffiti for George Lucas. George Lucas met his film editor wife at USC. John Milius went there as well. And I think they were not necessarily best of friends, but they were all buddies.
Classmates.
They were colleagues. They were colleagues, classmates.
Right.
Yeah.
And whoever got a foothold in the industry, they would bring in another guy. Like, I know a guy.
Yeah.
That's where you want to be. You want to be in a position where I know a guy.
Right.
It's old-fashioned networking.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's all. And that's true of any creative endeavor. It's really networking.
Yeah.
Big time.
Like I was on the staff. I mean, you can't do this anymore, but I was on the staff of my college newspaper, and all of us were helping each other try to find jobs post college in journalism and at other newspapers in different fields. And that's how it works. There's a reason why all the Harvard grads in a class all work in Wall Street.
Right.
Because they all take daddy's money and they all know each other. They all go to the same clubs. They all go to the same
That's where they hang out. Yeah.
Where they hang out.
Yeah. 100%. Before I get to the next one, one of the other things is don't be a jerk, right? Yeah. Especially if you're pitching, if you're pitching live. A lot of what I'm going to talk about is pitching like on paper, submitting that. But if you are pitching live, don't be a jerk, because nobody wants to work with a jerk. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes when you're an employee of a company, the boss will come to you and says, Roland, you're editing this book, and here's your team. And you go, but I don't like that person. And, well, that's who's doing it, so you got to make it work, right? So, but when you're making
such a thing.
But that's usually with people that are established.
Yes.
They're already... they've learned to be a jerk after they got to be a pro.
Right.
Or they brought it with them and somehow they got in. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
when you're making a pitch, you don't want to be a jerk, right? Don't be a jerk, because no one will want to work with you.
Yeah. No, editors want people they can work with editors and publishers. They don't want somebody who's going to come in and tell, this is all I'm going to do. You put their finger in your face. No. I'm the editor. I'm the publisher. This is what we need from you.
Okay.
Not attitude. We need you to do work for us.
Right.
I'm not here for attitude. I'm here to make money. Yeah.
Also, I don't need you to make my life harder than it is.
Yeah, because it is hard.
We're going to be talking to each other on a regular basis. It's like there's only so much of you I'm going to put up with. And so, so a 4-issue miniseries will take about a year from start to finish. And I might not want to be on the phone or get amiles from you for that long.
I thought it was. I almost got mad, but I thought it was funny the other day when we had Jim Amish on here, and I never told him, but apparently he talked to Gerald DeVictoria, who later told him, Roland would give you to me when he didn't want to talk to you. And I'm like, wait, don't tell somebody that.
I got better. Thank goodness he's dead now, and you won't find out. But when I worked at Malibu, Harlan Ellison used to call me up. I was his guy at Malibu Comics because I had done him a favor once, and so I became, whenever he wanted something from me, he would, or from Malibu, he would just call me up. And when it first happened, it's like, oh, geez, Harlan Ellison's calling me. My God, Harlan Ellison's there. And then it's like, oh, fuck, it's Harlan Ellison calling me again.
Oh, no.
Because I don't have 45 minutes, It's like,
right.
And so I would, Kara Lamb was my assistant back then, and I would just say, hey, Kara, I got Harlan on line 1. Can you talk to him and find out what he wants? Just tell him I'm busy. Don't tell him I'm busy, because that sounds bad and it makes him sound not important. But tell him I'm in a meeting.
Right.
And so
yeah. So I didn't realize that Jim knew that until he was on here the other day. But it was true, because obviously, clearly, I love Jim and continue to work with him. It's just that Jim is a talker, as you see the other day. And when he called, it's like, oh, like Tom just said, I don't have 45 minutes to talk with him.
Right.
Gerald, you take it and find out what he needs, and I'm going to keep working. Right?
We're not.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I've talked too much.
Okay. Well, you want to be the kind of person for your editor that if he is busy, he can say, look, I got some other work I got to get done. I can't talk to you right now. Call me later. Call me tomorrow. Yeah. You want to be the person that they can do that with. You don't want to be the person where they go, oh, please, assistant editor, can you push these people off for a while? Yeah. You want to be the guy that they could say, I want to talk to you, Rob, but I can't do it right now. Yeah. And then, you can talk to him later. So I tried to be that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I probably wasn't, but yeah.
But you can also say, is this a short thing or a long thing? Because if it's a short thing, I can give you an answer like right now.
Right.
And if it's a longer conversation, then we got to put it off a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be the kind of person that can take that.
Right.
Be available enough to your editor to accept.
And also be the kind of freelancer who doesn't immediately go, "What's wrong?"
Right.
Yeah.
You hate me now.
Right. You hate me now. Yeah. I'm getting fired, aren't I? I'm not getting paid, or you're going out of business, or whatever.
Please don't. Yeah, that's paranoia. Don't do
that.
Yeah.
You can't,
paranoia will annoy you.
You can see, you can see how that would take hold in a freelancer if you're not careful.
Oh yeah. Well, and as we've talked before, most of the times freelancers work, in a they're in a bubble. They don't have. This is one of the reasons I've told you guys this before. This is one of the reasons I love our streams, because it gets us out of. It gives us that contact, I guess you could say.
Right.
On a regular basis.
Yeah.
Helps keep me sane.
I'm in my studio right now. You see how messy it is behind me here.
Right.
Yeah.
Because no one ever comes in here but me. So it is my little bubble, my little world here.
Yep.
So yeah.
Well, we were talking to
doing this.
We were talking to Kelly Jones last week, and he said he's in his studio from like regular office hours, whatever, 9 to 5, whatever, and then he comes out. And he never goes back in his studio until the next day, and his wife never comes in.
Right.
And so it's like his man cave where he draws.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he said he doesn't take his work into when he leaves. He doesn't take his work in there with him. But, so
we've also talked to Tommy, who's not here today, Flormonte, and he takes his iPad with him wherever he is. He's drawing on while he's watching TV. He's drawing on his bicycle. He's drawing at the restaurant. He doesn't care.
Hey, he at our show today, he sat there and he was steady inking. He was steady inking at the show. And at the end of the show, he held it up. He goes, look, I almost got it done. So, all right. So for me, the next red flag, I think, is an incomplete story. If you have a good cover letter, I'm getting onto your pitch. I want to see an encapsulated. I can't remember what we used to call it. Was it high concept?
Elevator, like an elevator pitch type of thing.
Something really short. This is here's what it is, right?
Yeah.
And then, but then I want to see that you have, and it's not me. I don't want to feel like I'm obligated to read it. But if you got the elevator pitch, then give me a 2-page summary or a page summary, something short. Here's my story. The beats.
Maybe even the beats. So
look, just a summary though. I want to know not just what your concept is. I want to know how you're going to start it, what the action is going to be, and then what your resolution is. I want to see that you have a complete story. I don't want you to come to me and say, I got an idea, right?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Because
I'm not your fixer.
Right, exactly. It's like, no. I don't want to get into this with you, and because I got ideas, but they're not stories, right?
Right.
So I want to see that you have a story, and I don't want to have to read 30 pages to do it.
Right.
Yeah, because that's the art of storytelling. You should be able to be brief.
Yeah.
You should be able to tell your story and relay it really quick. I mean, especially with the elevator pitch. If the elevator pitch is 4 paragraphs, you're a person I don't want to be stuck in an elevator with.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. I mean,
Also, it's like this. Pretend I haven't seen Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now tell me why I should see it.
Right.
And do it in the time it takes to go from the 1st floor to the 5th floor.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's it. And just tell me why. And I think you've got to pare it down to those key elements. Because if you can't tell me your story, then I can't trust you to write that story.
Exactly.
And that's, I should be at the edge of my seat. Just like if you were pitching me a movie or a TV show, I should be at the edge of my seat going, well, what happens next? I really want to know.
And then.
Yeah.
And what? Yeah. 100%. What else? Anybody got red flags or green flags? Bring up?
Well, the ones that annoy me are the ones that come up and tell me their story ideas. Their role playing game. And that's where my idea came. We played this role playing game, and here's and they start telling you all this stuff, and you're going, please, no.
And then I rolled a d6, and then
whoa,
I think,
no. Go ahead.
I think a green flag is if you've done other things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think if you can, like it, there's an old line that says a bank is happy to loan you money if you can prove you don't need it.
Right.
And I think that's what you got to do. You got to do as a creator. It's like, okay, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way, although I'm going to say it that way. It's like, why should I be talking to you?
Right.
What have you done to be worth 7-8 minutes of my time?
Right.
And that's on you, basically. I have these awards. I published this comic book. I've worked with these creators before. I've been a part of the industry for this long or whatever. And even out of comics, I run my own. I have my own webtoon. I have my own, whatever. And I think that gets me to pay attention.
Right.
Over the guy who is just like, I have an idea for it.
Right. Yeah.
And it's beyond having having a piece of paper from a college.
Yes.
While you're in college, you should have been doing stuff on the side.
Yeah, because
to show what you can do.
That's the other thing too. I don't care about your college degree. I don't care about your grades. I don't care about where you went to school. I don't care about any of that. Can you tell me a story? And if I'm a publisher, can I make money off your story that can transfer back to you?
Right.
And that's it. So,
and I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say the green flag for me is that when you hand me a comic, right?
Oh yeah.
This is a comic I think I mentioned to y'all from, was it Daytona? I think it might have been Daytona, right? I met her. She handed me a comic, and I'm like, oh, look at this. You've done the work. You went so far as you got it printed, right? This is a green flag for me. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, big time green flag.
I'll go that a little bit better. Is it not only is it a green flag, but if I start asking you questions about your comic, then I've kind of bought into reading the comic. And so it's not you pitching me the comic, it's me talking to you and asking you questions about your comic. And now we have some kind of dialogue going where based on your answers to my questions, I might read it.
Right.
And that's
what you're doing is you're selling something.
Yes.
And I used to sell. You're going to laugh at me, but I used to be a shoe salesman. I sold shoes for a while, and one of the things that you learn is that you hand them the thing that you're trying to sell them. If you get them to touch it, then so that's what you're trying to do. If you've got a comic book, you can hand that to to the editor or publisher, and they're in. You're in the door. Now that comic has to finish up the selling. But if you've at least got them to touch it, put it in their hand, you're in. You're in the door. Now you got to close the sale. You got to finish up. But
and let me keep the comic. Don't take the comic.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Give it to me.
Giving it to them.
Yeah, give it to me. Don't show it to me. Don't show it to me and you walk away with it.
No.
Give it to me because then I got
give
nothing.
it to them.
Yeah.
So here's a red flag as a small press publisher. Okay. And I know Mike touched on it a little bit earlier, is that if, and I don't know if Ray's still listening, but if you're a writer and you come to me and say, hey, I've got an idea for an ongoing series, or I've got an idea for a miniseries, but I don't have any artists. Yeah, probably not, because that requires that I do so much more work, and that's the hard part.
You're relying on the good luck that editor or publisher has an artist he doesn't have something assigned to that he wants to give somebody something that you're trying to throw eights. You're trying to throw sevens.
Right. Yeah.
2 or 3 times in a row.
It also speaks volumes of you, what artist you pick.
Yes.
As far as this is your baby. Show me how much love you have for it. Just so I want to see that you just didn't pick some artist out of a hat.
Right.
I want you to say, I want to see that you shop somebody and you really looked about what your vision was going to be.
And there are places on the internet you can find artists.
Oh man,
they're out there. Yeah. They are out there.
Not necessarily for your 12-part epic, but
right.
Right.
Don't pitch
issue,
them.
But I think
go ahead.
Wait, now I lost my train of thought. Somebody else go ahead.
I'm so sorry. Yeah,
okay.
But if you're trying to don't pitch an artist like you said on a 12-part epic, just give them something that they can do a few pages of. To show. And don't load them down with that. You especially if they're first starting out, that may be too much of a load for them to bear.
Listen,
they might just go. They might freak.
I don't do math, right? But 12 issues at 20 pages, let's just say 20 pages a piece. That's 200 pages. I don't know any artist that goes, yeah, I'd love to do that, right? Yeah. No, I think they're going, ooh, 200 pages, boy.
I think one of the mistakes that creators make like that is they think that the small indie comics have the same staff that the big publishers do.
Yeah.
It's like, you could just get me an artist, or you could just bring these resources to bear. And it's like,
that's not
no. It's like, Roland, I've met you. You are Silverline. There's not a staff of people behind you to do all the.
You're looking at it right.
Like you wear all the hats. So it's like,
now, yes, I will say this. I'm very lucky that I get a lot of help. Barb, you guys know Barb keeps our books for us, and my wife does a lot of the social media. Mike does a whole lot more work than he's probably wants me to admit that he does on here. So I'm fortunate that I get a lot of help. But you're right that there's all the hats are right here.
Yeah, but the resources that you have, they're not there for other people to take advantage of.
Correct.
It's like you can't just say to somebody, hey, you know what? Don't worry, I'll have Mike take care of that for you.
No, like, no.
Mike's already doing stuff. It's like And so I think that when it's like when they want you to be their editor and provide them with an artist and get them all the things that they need, is like, we're not a resource-based company.
No,
I don't. Do even DC and Marvel have bullpens anymore? I don't know that they do even.
They don't publicize it if they do. They don't talk. They don't talk about corrections or anything like that. Like like Ramirez Raiders and
I
don't think they have anything like that anymore.
I'm gonna bet that they have something. There is a system set up, but
they have a limited staff maybe that does that kind of stuff.
I would bet they're not in the office. I bet they're not in the office because everything's digital now. You can just send things around and just say, you know what, I need this fixed. Like if we were still at Malibu and we were all working out of the office, we'd go to like Jason Levine.
Yes.
And we would say, because Jason is a multi hyphenate sort of person. He could do art corrections, he could do urban corrections, he could fix word balloons, he could fix balloon placement, he could do all that kind of stuff. And you would just say, I need 6 things done.
Right.
And there'd be a prearranged price for that kind of stuff. And that's how you do it. But he wouldn't be on staff, but he'd be the go-to guy.
And you would have it clearly defined what you need, and he would go and fix that. When he delivered it back to you, everything was fixed.
Yeah, and I think because that's the way I would run it now if I was doing it, and I'm pretty sure that Marvel and DC have a team or people like that they go to. I just don't think they're on staff.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they don't have the bullpen was a staff. People that were in the office. I don't think that exists anymore.
No, because it was a real job where you worked, until stuff got done, and you
came in and punched the clock. So.
I prefer that method.
Yeah.
Because that way, Roland, how many times, because we had an entire art department and we had a coloring department and we had other kinds of, you could just walk across the hall and say, I need this. The thing is that it takes away, like, digital is great, but a lot gets lost in writing down what you need.
Yeah.
If you can go to the artist at their desk and just say, look, here's what I need, here's what I think can solve the problem.
Right.
What do you think? And within like 5 minutes, the two of you can sort of hash out.
Yeah.
Now the artist has a better way. What do you think? And then it's like you go back and forth a little bit, and then it gets done. And I much prefer that way.
Oh, same. The biggest problem that I don't know a problem. It was just it is what it was. But the biggest obstacle I recall is because Malibu did so many titles. It's like, here's this thing I need. Well, you're in line behind this and this and this and this. You had to, and then of course Tom ran the production meeting. Sometimes you would just say, well, you know what? I need my thing before that, and that. So can you not put me here on the list? Can you put me there? I know those things have to be first, but I need to be right there. And I don't remember all the details, but I remember every Monday morning, Tom would have the production list and things would get the production meeting. I'm sorry. And the things would get shifted around sometimes based on their importance.
And based on how soon everything has to go to the printer.
Right. Yeah.
If you have to work backwards from printer time. Mm-hmm. You don't want to miss your printer date. So everything has to work backwards from that. And then it depends on who I'm pissed off at.
Right. Don't roll in your projects last.
That day.
Yeah,
that day.
Yeah, that day. Yeah.
It
would change every Monday.
It's a wandering scale. But also, in a big company, there needs to be somebody who can just say, yeah, I understand you think this is the most important thing in the world.
Yes.
It's not.
Right.
It's not big picture important. It's small picture important.
Right.
And that's when you have to, basically you have to be the coach. Somebody has to call the shot.
Yeah. Well, and that's for me, that's the thing. I'm remembering the production meetings now. That's the thing that I always loved, because we had that target date of it has to be at the printer at this date. And Roland, your date is after that date. So this project takes precedence because it has to go out the door first.
It has to go before you.
That always makes sense.
Also, in a big room like that, where all the editors and all the production people are together, sometimes the group can help solve the problem if you just throw it out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I need this done by this time, but he needs this done by that time, and she needs that done by this time. And then it's like, well, let's not all just yell at each other. Let's all figure out. No.
Only Tom gets to yell.
That's right. Only I get to yell. Sit on shit. But that's only because my name is on the paperwork.
That's true. Production meeting ran by Tom.
That's right. We went astray.
It's astray. What? Any other? As always, our clock is moving. Any other red flags or green flags that you guys can think of that we didn't talk about tonight?
I think we hit a good little amount of stuff.
I think so. I
think you want to be the person that I want to work with,
and
you want to prove that you can do the work before you approach
me.
Yeah.
And, you have to have the understanding of, based on Ross Ritchie used to say this at Boom. Yeah, you have a good idea for a project. I have limited amount of space in my company. Who would you like me to fire to put you on their book?
Yeah.
And it's like, so you got to be You got to be better, not as good. You got to be better than the people I'm already working with, because I'm not going to replace them just to bring you on board.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and don't compare yourself to the worst book that this publisher is doing. Right?
Yeah. You produce this crap. Right.
Yeah.
You produce this crap book.
Well, yeah, but can you do better than Barry Windsor Smith on
this?
I used to get pitches from writers like that where it's just like, I can't believe you published this book, or I can't believe you published this Planet of the Apes story when my Planet of the Apes story is so much better. It's like, okay, well, that's
best is in the eye of the beholder.
Right. It's like, okay, well, I like that story. I like that creator. It's fine. But go ahead and try to hurt my feelings.
Right. See if that does you. Call me names and see if that does you any good.
Well, yeah, that's definitely a red flag when you start throwing that kind of stuff out. That's going to put them off and go, okay, I'm not really interested.
Yeah.
They might still be nice to you, but you just pissed them off, and you're done. You're done. You might as well just walk away.
But so Roland, when you were packaging the Silverline stuff for Malibu Comics. But then eventually I came to you with other things that weren't Silverline. They were just Roland specific. And I'd be like, Roland, I got a thing. Is this something that you'd like to think about?
Well, often what would happen, I think, at least my memory is this way, often I would call you and say, hey, Tom, I need some more work. What do you got? Right. And you would say, I got nothing. And then you'd call me back the next day and you would say, oh, by the way, we have this thing right here, Roland. Since you just asked me, I was thinking that this might work for you.
Right.
And you put the bug in his ear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I let him know, hey, I want something else if you've got it. Of course, Tom always said, no, we don't have anything. But it wasn't unusual that I would get a call from him, not necessarily the next day, but hey, Roland, this has come up. We got the rights to do this book. You want to do the adaptation?
Because every Tuesday we'd have the company meeting and we talk about new projects, and then it would be like, okay, well, if we get the license for this, do we have anybody who could do it? And then I'd have my list. Well, Roland expressed an interest in talking monkeys, and Steve Bennett expressed an interest in science fiction, and somebody else expressed an interest in that. It's like, well, I would go down my list and see, well, this sounds like a thing that Roland might like.
Right. Yeah.
And oh, by the way, Roland talked to me 2 days ago and said he would like some extra work.
Yeah, I do remember. The one I do remember you guys reaching out to me about was Lita Ford.
Yes.
Because you guys knew I was a headbanger. Hey, Roland, guess what? We've got the rights to do a Lita Ford book. You want to write it? Yes, I want to write it.
Duh.
But I think that came from Alm, because Alm was also a headbanger of a certain type.
Yeah.
And so and then you got to meet Lita Ford too. So
I sure did. And sign autographs next to her.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So at San Diego Comic Con.
She's still the coolest rock person I ever met.
Yeah. Yeah. I still remember the time that Black Sabbath, Geezer Butler came into the office. No one said, this was the thing. Sometimes these people would show up into the office, and of course, back then my hair was longer. I'm in a T-shirt that I picked up at Tijuana, right? And it had it had the backside of a person with a great big rear end. The word said "crack kills." And I had my hair in a ponytail, and Geezer Butler comes in. I can't let Geezer Butler come into the office and not get a picture with the guy. So there I am, and my hair pulled back in a ponytail and Crack Kills T-shirt with Geezer Butler.
Because that's the thing. We hardly ever knew when somebody like that was going to show up.
I know
3 or 4 people would know, but it wouldn't make it around in the office.
Yeah. So. But the one Lita Ford picture that's on the internet, I don't even have a hard copy of it, but it's on the internet, has me and Lita and Jim Ballant, who was the artist on
I got that. I have the original print for that.
Do you really?
Yeah.
At your leisure, can you get me a good scan?
Yeah.
That would be great, because mine is a tiny little pixelated thing. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
I got the whole thing.
Yeah, that would be great at your leisure when you have the
Because
opportunity.
in those days, cameras were rare, and so it wasn't. Otherwise,
Well,
I would have like 3,000
Yeah.
shots of Lita Ford and
Like-
3,000 shots of my breakfast.
I have a
Well, that's the-
camera in my pocket now,
Right.
like
That's the
everybody
thing.
does.
My kids, I tell them all these stories, and why didn't you have pictures of them? We just didn't take pictures back then. I'm like, I went into the office and we worked. And,
And a camera's a clunky thing back then. It's not like
Yeah.
So
you had to wear it around your neck, and you looked like a Japanese tourist at the time.
So now hold still. I got to focus. We got to get the lighting just right. It's like, no. It's like, no, I don't want to ever hear f-stop ever again.
Everybody say cheese, right?
No, I'm gonna click 1,000 of these things and just take the best one.
I actually had a dark room.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Well, that's how I did the Star Trek stuff. I got one of these overhead projectors, and I figured out what f-stop to use and what shutter speed, and I would take pictures off the TV screen
Oh
of people I needed to draw in the next issue, and I would blow them up or shrink them down to fit into the drawing that I had that day to do.
That's crazy.
It's easy. It's much easier now. I can do it. I can pull it out and run it on my computer, and I do all the enlargement and shrinking in Photoshop. But back then, I actually had to print them out and do the whole bit. But I had a darkroom for a while. All that stuff's gone now.
That's incredible.
It's useless.
It's all replaced. It's all replaced by this tiny 3x5 thing.
Yep.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. I thought of one other thing when y'all were saying something about we're talking about being nice. Be aware that your social media can be viewed by anybody, right? Because if you send me a cover letter and I look at it and you're like, oh, here's my Instagram, my Twitter, my Blue Sky, my Facebook, I'm probably going to go click around on those. And particularly if I'm interested, right? If you've got my interest at all, I'm probably going to go click around on those. And if you're being just a jerk to everybody, I'm probably going to say, I don't want.
Probably a good idea in that case is to have a separate professional account. If you're of either political persuasion, your editor might be of the opposite political persuasion, and so have a professional Instagram, Facebook, all that other stuff that you just put your work on, your writing or your art. Put that all over. Give those to the editor or publisher.
And now, keep all your personal ones private, right?
Yeah.
Only your friends can see.
Because while you're researching the publisher is going to be researching you.
Yes. Yep. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
100%. All right, that was a fun night tonight, guys. Our time is up. It was a lot of fun.
Really good topic, Rob. Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah, it was good seeing you, Rob.
I was just watching, and I'm going, hey, this is kind of an interesting thing, and I popped in my little bit about the Redbud Studio, which is my own little my self-publishing thing that I started up many years ago. And then I tried publishing other people's stuff, and I just learned pretty quickly you can't make money that way unless the best way to make $1 million is to start with 3. And you lose the 2 to get down to $1 million.
You made $1 million.
So, but it's tough. But if you do it yourself and you just print out copies to sell at conventions, then it's worthwhile.
Yeah.
But publishing other people's stuff that way, you just can't. You can't make money at it.
I've reached a point where I wouldn't want to publish other people's stuff. Like if I would,
that's where I am too. I don't want to spend that much extra energy putting together somebody else's book.
Right.
Whether I made money at it or not, I really want to spend all my energies doing my stuff.
I think it'd be different if I was in my 20s and maybe early 30s. That's the different. I'm in a different space, but in my current elderly space, it's like I kind of want to put some stuff together where I've learned things, and I want to do things. And it's no disrespect to anybody else. I would like to do things, my way or my collaborator's way.
Right.
And, take the hit.
I feel that.
Yeah, I'm sure you do, Roland.
I feel that.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
But that's why I really like, if we can come back to me talking about Mike again, that's what I really like what Mike does, is he sticks to it. He's got the one character thing that is, it's a fabulous character, it's a fabulous book, and he puts all of his time into that. He's not, he doesn't have a whole line of different books. He doesn't have a whole whatever. All of the energy is into one thing, and it shows in the quality of the work. And I think that's where my head is at.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
It is fun. It's not, and that's the thing too. It's not the kind, and I mean this in the most positive way possible. It's not the kind of thing that other people are doing.
No.
It's not a Marvel book. It's not a DC book. It's not a Dark Horse book. It's a Mike
Belcher book.
It's a Mike Belcher book.
And I think that's
100%. All right. On Tuesday, the best Halloween comics. The Tuesday crew discussed their favorite books to read during Halloween or that feature Halloween. That is Tuesday. That will be 11 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, the Wednesday Whammers, 11 p.m. Eastern.
All right.
Yeah, it is late. Yeah, it's late because it's 8. It's 8 out on the Pacific Coast.
Right.
But it's 8. It's 9. I mean, it's 11 for my time.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're our late show.
we should mention that Mike Belcher has a Man in the Mask Halloween special #1 that people.
He sure does. Yeah. Mike, if you get a chance, drop that link in right there into the comments, man, so everyone knows where to go. On Wednesday, Meet the Mouse. Bill Mouse, a guest from Parody Press and Indie Comics, artist on Zen the Intergalactic Ninja, to Nero X, to Sniper and Rooks. Bill Mouse, that is on Wednesday for the Wednesday Wham, which will be 9 p.m. Eastern.
All right.
Yep.
And next week, Workspaces Now and Then. The Silver Sunday crew. You won't be here, right, Tom? Possibility.
I'll be at the Los Angeles Comic Arts Show in Huntington Beach.
Okay. Cool. The Silver Sunday crew discuss how their workspaces have changed over the years. Typewriters gave way to computers. Drafting tables gave way to iPads. Tune in and learn how these changes affect making comic books. That is for us next week, right here.
I might drop in for that.
All right, please do.
I will say
my workspace has changed.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but it still looks like an artist studio behind you.
That's because I'm only showing this one little spot. I can't show you the rest of the room. It's like a hoarder's nest. Books and comics and stuff everywhere. So, but yes, it's changed over the years.
Yep.
Thankfully, because the first time my wife came in to straighten up, I couldn't find anything. My wife does not come into the studio anymore.
Yeah.
But one time she came in to straighten up, I couldn't find anything.
Well,
she had straightened it up. But
that's the thing about an artist studio is it doesn't need to be straightened up. It reflects the artist itself. It's like,
right. And besides, I know that in this pile over here, about right there is what I need for today.
Yep.
It's exactly how an artist thinks.
And if my wife has picked it up and put it all in one spot, I'm going, oh crap, where is it? I need
this. Yeah.
Everything is in memory order.
Yep. Yep. It's like I've talked to her. I was like, please don't straighten up in here because it looks messy, but I know where things are. Yep. I know it. Yes, I realize there's a big pile of books over there, but I know exactly what's there. And if you move it, it's going to change, and I'm going to be totally lost.
It's going to throw you off your game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I did as gently as I could possibly do.
Yeah.
Well, you're still married, so congratulations.
Again.
That's right.
Well, it was tough.
Woody's dropping in on us. Woody says, I bet you have a Smith Corona hidden back there somewhere. Woody, I wouldn't take that bet. Me personally, I would not take that bet from you. So
do you have an IBM Selectric font ball somewhere?
No, I don't have one of those. All right. Well, it was fun. You guys remember until next week. Remember to
make mine
Silverline. All right. Good night, everyone.
So long, everyone.
Hey everyone, this is Jose Marzan Jr., anchor for Marvel and DC, and make mine Silverline.